different. Today, I would like to present my most sincere apologies to Lorne Armstrong. I just learned something about Lorne, and it kinda changed everything. And I feel terrible about everything I said on him. You know, I was reading the lawsuit. You know, and they say the defendant has never been married and does not have children. They should have added between parentheses. However, he did mention an interest to have children with Kayla, but Kayla wasn't real. Like, he wanted to marry Kayla and have children. So I wonder the guy when he asked Lorne, I wonder if Lorne replied, "In my dream or in reality? Because in my dream, I'm married to the most precious little baby girl." But let's not go off topic here. I wanted to apologize to Lorne because I learned that he is a wounded veteran. Did you believe that? Lorne was wounded for us. He is a brave warrior, and he suffered terribly for us. And I feel bad because I admire people who are ready to give their good health for our freedom, you know, for America, for the country, for us. That his elbow looked kind of weird. Like here, just look at his elbow as he moves. That's it from the ground. Never gets old. Look at his elbow. It's kind of sticking out a little bit, and I thought something went wrong. And that's his right elbow, by the way. Even here, we can kind of see the way his elbow moves. Look at the way his arm moves. We can see a little bit the elbow, but it's more clear here. Look at how it sticks out a little bit too high. It's more of this here. We see kind of a bump. I have to find the exact frame. Would you have me on your back, you fucking pedo?
He's taken to the local.
We don't see clearly, but basically I did make a comment on that video when he gets led to the police station. I did make a comment that his right elbow looked messed up, and that was actually yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember. And I was actually right.
Police.
You see the way it seems like there's kind of something not right. Like if you put your hand like that, it looks like, because when you're handcuffed, when you're handcuffed, you know, your wrists are together and they're kind of bent in a weird way, and that makes the little bone work. You know, the one. You know, we have two bones in the. Let me show you actually. Arm anatomy. I hope you can see. I don't have much. Yeah, I think you can see now. You can see I have two bones. That's the elbow here, and that's the bone. That's the small bone. That's the big bone here. The big bone you can touch is the one that is, let's say you have your hand like that. You have your hand to the side of your body. That's the bone that's going to be towards the front of you. And it's kind of, on this image, it's kind of twisted, but it's twisted too. It goes from the elbow, and now you have the big one is going to be pretty much at the top, and it kind of rotates. You understand what I mean? And Lorne probably has he has a problem here, and that elbow here is gonna, the bone probably never recovered correctly, and that's why we see, you see here the little bump here. That's probably what we see here. Maybe I can show 1 second earlier. Maybe we're gonna get it better.
He's taken to the local.
But we can see that bone is kind of protruding. That's the word I wanted. And we can see it a few more times, but it's hard to find. I just wanted to show you. So I investigated that image a lot, the condition, and I didn't find much. So I thought it was just a graphical bug. Like if you watch it slow-mo, put your hand on your back. There's no mistake. His elbow is definitely protruding. The bone is protruding. And we saw it like half a frame earlier. We saw it really well.
He's taken to the local police.
Now we see it well. There's kind of a bump here, and look, the arm looks kind of not straight. And I was really curious what it was, and I investigated like a long time, and I finally found it here. The defendant advised he broke his right arm, and that's exactly what it is. That's his right arm. not a coincidence, while he was in the military, and that his wrist was not reset correctly. That's a weird way to put it. Like if you go see an orthopedical doctor, like somebody specialized in that precisely, you know, a bone doctor as we like to call them, and you say, oh, my wrist was not reset correctly. What he mean is the treatment he had to fix his fracture, and what probably wasn't the bone. It's probably, I'm not sure, I don't think he broke his wrist. It's possible, like the carpal tunnel, like the part in the hand, that's possible too. I really think it's the at the insert when the small bone is at the intersection, because typically, let me show you. But you do agree there's a bump here, something's not right. The typical wrist fracture, I'm gonna show you. It's gonna be a bit higher. Oh, that's it. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's exactly what I mean. If you see the image, it's not gonna be the wrist precisely. It's gonna be the bone leading to the wrist. It's very complicated. I don't want to go too much into it, but that's precisely what happened to him. And it's kind of scary if you look at it. You're like, whoa. And this is scary as hell. So that bone is probably the small bone, and when it was reset, or when it was like in a cast, it probably was either he didn't have a cast at all, but that's surprising because he has kind of a protruding bone, or either he didn't have any cast and he kind of waited, or either like he waited too long, he thought it would pass away, but that hurt like hell, by the way. That hurts like crazy, so I don't think so. I think the doctor was incompetent, but that's surprising in the army to have a bad doctor. That would explain why the small bone is kind of fixed the way it could. And sometimes when you break a bone, if it's not set at the right, it's going to grow and try to repair itself. It's going to kind of create a bump, but it's going to create a bump here. So I really think probably the bone, when it broke, that bone here was pushed up. That must have hurt like hell, by the way. Was pushed up, and this is what creates a small bump on his right arm. And he says, as a result, he reported his hand goes numb. No, Lorne, that's because you masturbate too much. That's because you touch Mr. Penis too much. And lately, his arm has been going numb as well. That sounds like a carpal tunnel. That would be probably a normal complication of a wrist fracture. It's not fun, but I was interested to learn that about him. He has not requested any medical treatment for this condition. He could not afford it anyway. That's interesting to know. That could explain plenty of things. Like, I really wonder how he got that injury. But I like to think that Lorne got an injury fighting Talibans, you know. He saw the U.S. were under attack. He went to war and he was shot in the wrist by a Taliban while saving President Bush's life. So that's like I like to imagine. And I like to imagine that Lorne received a Purple Heart medal for that. He probably lost it. Maybe he sold it. Maybe he pawned it to buy gas to go see Kayla. I like to believe that he received the Purple Heart because he was injured. You know, that's a medal you been wounded or killed in any action against an enemy of the United States, etc. That's a pretty cool medal, I have to say. I like to believe that Lorne received that medal for his broken arm. And yeah. So I want to apologize to you, Lorne. Okay, sorry. I want to apologize. I didn't know that you served. I knew you served in the military, but the fact that you actually suffered like that, I didn't know. You sacrificed your arm to save America. You're a hero. In any event, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.